Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Thursday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, hey, happy Halloween to everybody. It's kind of fitting that it's Halloween because the story that I'm talking about, it's Donald Trump playing dress up as a garbage man. Yeah, this is the story that I want to talk about today. We all know how this story came about, and I'll run it down really quick. Hey, in the video of this from Twitter, the news story from TMZ and everything will be in the video description right down below, so you can actually watch the whole clip. There's a Twitter clip of the entire thing, Trump coming, walking, getting help up into the truck, slipping on the handle, and his usual grumpy, frowning visage up in the garbage truck window and all that. Okay, so we all know how this came about. Tony Hinchcliffe, comedian, made a joke about Puerto Rico being a floating island of garbage. Like I said, it wasn't a joke. It was him making a comment, a statement, an opinion. That's what I saw. A joke has a setup, a punchline. It's funny. This didn't have any of those things, but that's not what this video is about. Joe Biden commented on this, and I'm kind of glad that Joe Biden isn't running for president right now, because this would have there's a furor around this, of course, because Trump supporters are all upset because Joe Biden referred to his supporters as garbage, more or less. And the thing here is, I remember Hillary Clinton calling Trump supporters deplorable, and they just embraced that. They had it on their t-shirts. They were so proud of being deplorable. And now all of a sudden it's 5 days before the election, and they're all upset. 250 million Americans, my butt, are all upset, all wounded and insulted and crying their tears because they've been called garbage by the President of the United States. What a load of crap. Okay, so Donald Trump, there's no way he would have done this if it wasn't 5 days from the election. So he's trying to troll Joe Biden by getting into a garbage truck, pretending to be a garbage man or a truck driver. And this is what I want to talk about. As soon as I saw this video, I'm not just saying this for a video to do, for something to talk about in this video. When I saw this clip, it bothered me. It insulted me, because I worked as a truck driver for a good portion of my life, and I worked as a replacement garbage man on the weekends. I drove a hardwood flooring truck for Hoboken Wood Floors in New Jersey for about 15 years of my life, where I broke my back. And on the weekends, I would be a replacement garbage truck driver. And I want to talk about this really quick. Okay, in this, like I said, there's no way Donald Trump would have done this if it wasn't 5 days from the election. I could imagine his team saying, we got to come back from this. We got to do something. Let's troll Joe Biden. Let's, get in a garbage truck. All right. So when I saw this, I see a man who has never done a menial labor job in his life, Donald Trump. Never swung a hammer, never drove a truck, never did an honest day's pay. He never did an honest hour, an honest minute's work in his life. And to see this man pretend to play dress up and pretend to mock, in my opinion, one of the hardest jobs I ever did in my life, and I'll talk about that quick in a second. It's insulting. It really is. It bothers me. It's insulting to me. Like I said, I worked as a hardwood flooring truck driver. I drove a flatbed and what they call a curtain truck, the big long curtain. You pull back the curtains, and we'd have pallets of hardwood flooring. And it was one of the hardest jobs I did, truck driving here in Connecticut on 95 from New York City to Boston, down to New Jersey, in this area, the tri-state area. Driving a hardwood flooring truck, it's got to be one of the hardest jobs I've ever done. And I actually broke my back. I have had 2 back surgeries. I actually broke the disc in my back, and it moved down my spinal column, and it wedged against my nerves. I can't feel my left leg right now. And I worked as a truck, like I said, I worked as a replacement garbage truck driver. My brother-in-law was a garbage truck, did this full time for Cope's Rubbish in Connecticut. And I worked as a replacement truck driver. And this has got to be one of the hardest jobs, or the hardest job I have ever done in my life. And I've done a lot of hard jobs in my life. My brother-in-law and me on the weekends, we'd get up at 2 in the morning. I mean, it was dark when we got up every morning, and we'd go down and get in the truck, and it was just a nonstop race through the whole day. I mean, it was just nonstop in and out of the truck. I watched Donald Trump by the time it took him to get in this truck, he reached for the handle, then he climbs up into the truck and he shuts the door. By the time it took him, seriously, by the time it took him to get into that truck, a real garbage truck driver would have been in and out of that truck. Could have gotten in and out, in and out, in and out. Like, I honestly, I'm not just saying this. It could have gotten in and out 3 times in the time it took him to climb up and then be helped up into the truck. Let me say this. Let me go on about the description. Like I said, it was one of the hardest jobs. We would race from just 20 to 50 feet up the road, from stop to stop to stop, and picking up these garbage cans with 100 pounds, 200 pounds of garbage. I mean, my brother-in-law was a smaller guy than me. I'm 6'3", over 200 pounds, and my brother-in-law was probably about half my size. And the way this guy would fling garbage up into the trunk, it amazed me. It was one of the hardest, dirtiest, smelliest jobs I've ever done in my life. Not only that, the truck would break down almost daily because of the hard use on it. There's a lot of hydraulic hoses and all that stuff in the truck, and there's a lot of stuff that moves and breaks down. And he would work, every time it broke down, because we'd be out in the middle of Connecticut, out in the woods or whatever, he would fix the truck. He would have replacement hoses, replacement hydraulic, all his tools and everything, and he doubled as a mechanic. By far, it was one of you couldn't pay me enough to do that full time. Honestly, I think like $100,000 or more, $200,000 would be a fair pay. Honestly, for the amount and the amount of work that truck drivers, that garbage truck drivers do. All right, so Donald Trump pretends to do this. Let me ask you this: if Donald Trump or anybody else dressed up as a policeman, put on a policeman's outfit, put on the badge, put on the gun, put on the hat, and pretended, got in a cop car. We're not talking movies here, but just as a political stunt, would that be funny? Would that be cool? Would that be trolling? No, it's insulting. It'd be insulting to a police officer or a fireman, dressed, in the turnout gear and the hat and everything, holding the hose. It's somebody who never worked an honest day, an honest minute in their life, never picked up a hammer, never did an honest day's menial labor in their freaking life. Dressing up and pretending to be an actual hardworking American, it's insulting. Would he dress up as a doctor? Would he put on the white coat and the stethoscope, and walk into an office? No, that's insulting. It's insulting to a doctor that went through years of schooling. And it's the same with a freaking garbage truck driver. It's insulting, man, to see this old man pretend to ride around his nice, pretty white, that's another thing, this pretty white painted MAGA dump truck. The trucks I drove in, they were beautiful trucks, but they stank to high heaven. And, they were some of the dirtiest, smelly, because God knows what we found in the garbage, and they were some of the they were beautiful trucks when you washed them, but they were some of the dirtiest, smelliest trucks I've ever driven in my life. And I was dirty and smelly every day when I came home. And to see this guy, who supposedly has a germ phobia too, never worked a day in his life, to pretend to be a garbage truck driver, it's an insult. It should be an insult to every truck driver and every person that's ever worked in rubbish or garbage removal. It's in my opinion, it's an insult. That's the video for the day. The clips are down below. You guys, I will be back with another video today. You guys have a good Thursday. Have a good Halloween. Boo.